Hey, it's Fred from the Leacock Museum, and today we're visiting with writer Nino Ricci, author of the best-selling, award-winning novel, The Origin of Species.
My family was never especially supportive of my becoming a writer, or rather, segments within the family. My parents didn't really understand what it meant to be a writer, and were uneasy because they couldn't see any financial stability to that kind of life. You know, they asked me, who employs you? Who pays you? When Lives of Saints first came out, I brought the first copy off the press to my parents for their 40th wedding anniversary. My second book came out. My father actually organized a sort of promotional tour for it in the hometown region, and he'd hire musicians to come and play during intermission, provided food, got someone to donate free pens. At one of those events, I'd done my thing. I'd done my reading, answered the questions, got off the stage, and I thought the event was over. And my father sort of muscled his way on the stage afterwards. Said, "No, I want to say something as well." And completely unscripted and completely outside of the program, he started talking about the fact that when I was younger, he hadn't understood what it meant to be a writer. He hadn't supported me, and he apologized for that and said that had been a mistake, and he encouraged people in the audience, if they had children who wanted to be artists or musicians or writers, that they should be encouraged, that this was a useful thing to do and something that ought to be encouraged. And for me as his son, this is a kind of moment of redemption you dream about. And there I was actually getting it on stage in public from my father. Well, he had the title first. His original title was much longer. It was something like, on the origin of species by means of natural selection, or the preservation of favored races and the struggle for life. I think that was the something along those lines. It got cut down over time by publishers who couldn't fit that on the title conveniently and still have room for images. Up until his time, it was believed that God had created species as they were for all time. Through some very simple kinds of research, came to the conclusion that there is no absolute dividing line between species, and in fact, we are all connected in some way through some original life form that we have branched off from, and the species definitions are really quite arbitrary. The book is set in Quebec, in Montreal, during a sort of lull in the whole separatist question, but that question sort of hangs in the background. And the question of, is it meaningful to seek independence for a group that's essentially defined on ethnicity? The character reflects that if you went back far enough, you'd see that the English and the French actually have bloodlines that are closely related.
Nino Ricci will be reading at the Leacock Summer Festival on Sunday, July 25th at the Paul Quarrington LEVEE. For complete event details, visit our website at www.leacockmuseum.com. See you in Orillia.